Hello there, you guys. I hope you're all doing well. Today I am excited to share with you yet another simple way to add witchcraft to your everyday. Also, just a continuity error. I got some new artwork since my B-roll was filmed, so apologies that there's some differences in the film. But anyways, a big part of my practice and what I share here on YouTube is based around simple practices and ways to just infuse magic into simple everyday moments. And one of my favorite ways to do that is through cooking or herbal recipes. In particular, simple recipes and things that are easy to infuse everywhere, such as herbal honeys or herbal syrups. Plus, they basically look like potions, so you're kind of potion crafting and you can mix them up and add them into teas or mixed drinks, and it just really adds magic to all of these different places in a really simple, easy, and exciting way. Now, I've tried recipes like this before. I've shared a few herbal recipes and syrups here and there, and I've done them a handful of times on my other channel where I share vlogs and just the other things I get up to in my life. Though every time I've made a syrup in the past, I've made them with fresh foraged flowers, and I've never really tried them with dried. So for me, this video was in part a really big experiment to see if making these herbal syrups using dried flowers would work just as well, if not better. And I'm happy to say that dried or fresh works just as well. There are some differences. If you wish to have a more colorful, beautiful, bright syrup, it's better to make it with fresh flowers. I've done this in the past with violets, as the dried kind of lose that potency, but you still get some decent color from dried, and it's really the flavor that is most important to me, though the color is exciting. But beyond that and some foraging precautions, which I have covered in past videos, using dried or fresh flowers or herbs is exactly the same. So without further ado, let's get into how to make herbal syrups or floral syrups, or just potion crafting. To make your syrup, you'll need equal parts sugar and water, and an amount of the herb that would typically be used in a cup of tea. I don't really have exact measurements for every herb because each herb and flower is going to be very different on how much you'll want to use. And in order to make this a versatile recipe, I think the best way to go about it is to use as much of the herb as you would use in a cup of tea. And finding the amount you'd use in tea is really pretty simple. Just do a quick Google search and it should pop right up. And that's all you'll need on the ingredient basis. Begin by setting a pot up of water to boil. Then take your herbs and put them into a separate container, a heat-safe container. Once the water's boiling, take it off the heat and pour however much you'll need on top of the herbs. If you're using fresh flowers or are using flowers that still have a good bit of color to them, wait for the water to stop boiling just a minute or two so that it's still very warm, but it's no longer boiling hot, and then pour it over top of the herbs. This will help retain some of the color Then leave them here to infuse overnight. The next day, separate the herbs from the water. You can do this just in a saucepan. I decided that I wanted to do a double boiler situation so that I could cook all of them at the same time, and I just put each herb infused water into the into a mason jar and then into a pot. But this is not necessary unless you are trying to speed up the process and do multiples at once. Otherwise, just a regular old saucepan is perfectly fine. Then once the infused water is all separated from the herbs, it's time to add in the sugar. Now, the way I chose to do this was not great. If you are just putting the infused water into a saucepan, go ahead and add the sugar right into that. But if you are going to do a double boiler situation like I did, perhaps add the sugar before putting them in the pot with the water because, well, I ended up making more syrup than I had planned to, as the water that I was using to make a double boiler situation kind of got a little bit sticky, but it's okay. It's part of the process. It's a learning thing, and that was just not a very well planned move on my part. But anyways, once the sugar has been added to the herbal infusion, bring it up in temperature until the sugar has completely dissolved. Then take it off, allow it to cool, and transfer it into its final containers. Once again, this can be done using fresh or dried herbs. I've had success with both. For more potent color, I would use fresh herbs and cooler than boiling water, but for just flavors, anything works. Of course, make sure if you are foraging to take the proper precautions. Don't take anything with pesticides or by pollutants, and make sure your identification is perfect. Making herbal syrups is a really lovely way to just infuse witchcraft into a variety of situations. I've been making them lately and adding them to mixed drinks, and that's been one of my favorite ways to use them. I've been making a really good chamomile old-fashioned. Oh my gosh, is it the best tasting old-fashioned I've ever made? And so I recommend that to anybody who is of age and would like to try that. But just have fun with them. Add them to desserts or to teas or just in little places that would make sense to add a syrup. They're really easy to make and they keep pretty well. Store them in the fridge and keep them until they don't look good anymore. I don't really have a perfect expiration date on them because usually I just go through them, but just keep an eye on it. If it looks good, it's probably good. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoy making these. Let me know in the comments if you do, or what herbal concoctions you'll try. I've done this with many different herbs, and typically I use one with the kind of correspondence I am looking for. So in this video I used chamomile, rose, and lavender. Chamomile is very calming, rose attracts love, and lavender I use for sleep. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to help support this channel, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. I know it's not for everybody, but it really does help a lot, and it's what makes making these videos possible. Over there I share my art, herbal profiles, and some other fun things. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and check out my other channel. It's where I share vlogs and some of the other just daily magic of my life. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to see you again soon.